And I think once I kind of admitted to myself that I need to make some lifelong changes and I need some help to do that, then I think I find it a lot easier, that I'm not going to get the changes I want just by eating next to nothing for a couple of weeks, because that's not going to help and it's not sustainable and it's not something that I can fit in realistically with family life. I would believe in yourself that you can make these changes. I just think if I can do it, I honestly believe anybody can. I, could barely walk down the street before I started all this. And now I've run 3 half marathons. It's not something I would have been able to do a few years ago. I think you've got to have that self-belief as well, that you can do it. That self-belief has got to come from you as a person. So take some time out to think about little changes that you'd like to make and how you can start. And then from there on, you can build on those changes.
Support for Slimming Stories is brought to you by Nicole Rivera's Stop Writing Alone podcast and writing community. Are you ready to stop writing alone but you don't know where to begin? At stopwritingalone.com, find the latest podcast episodes and writing prompt videos, or sign up for the email list to get those with live events and advice right to your inbox. If you're just feeling stuck on your first page and need a helping hand, feel free to DM Nicole on Instagram at Stop Writing Alone. Welcome back to another episode of Slimming Stories. I'm your host, Cleldon West. Today's episode is part 2 of Leah Trainor's Slimming Story. Part 1, last week we spoke about how Leah really struggled with pregnancy and all the difficulties that she had with her physical health and how this affected her. Part 2 covers Leah's story of having walked through her local slimming group, what happened next, what happens when you've received your pack, you know what you need to do, you've got the guidelines of the weight loss diet that you're about to follow. This is that part. And also, Leah discussed openly her love of running. Now, I don't think this is an easy feat for anybody to take up running. I really don't. Those first runs can be really, really difficult. But it just shows you that, Leah really struggled just to walk up the street. She really struggled to feel comfortable, and often she was in pain with her physical health, and yet she has now gone on to complete half marathons. So if you're somebody listening to this podcast during summertime, maybe your clothes feel uncomfortable, maybe you're looking to make some changes with your health for the better, I really do think that Leah's story will help to inspire you. So here's part 2 of Leah Trainor's Slimming Story. From that first weigh in and then going home, did you have to make any massive changes with your eating style? Were you eating food in a certain way, such as frying your food? Did you have to make changes that way? Or was it like a re-education of the foods that you were already eating and making slight tweaks?
I think it was slight tweaks for me. I've always been one that has been for savoury things, toast, bread, cheese, those kind of things. I would have had a lot of those. So for me, I think I needed to stop. It's almost like I wouldn't eat breakfast, but I would just kind of continuously eat between the morning and the afternoon, but with no kind of separation between meals almost. I'll just grab a piece of toast and then think, well, I haven't really had much for breakfast. I'll have another piece of toast, or I'll have a sandwich. It's nearly lunchtime, that kind of thing. So for me, it was kind of having, right, this is my breakfast and I'm going to kind of sit down and enjoy my breakfast. And, later on in the day is going to be lunchtime and I could have a snack in between or some fruit, things like that. So firstly, I think trying to have 3 proper meals a day. And I've always been one for kind of snacking. I still am, but now it's more kind of fruit and things like that. I know Andy and my husband and Andy, would sit kind of in the evenings and eat share-size bags of crisps or share a tub of Ben and Jerry's and those kind of things. So making those changes as well. All right, we'll swap out the ice cream. I'll have a bowl of fruit and yogurt in the evening, and just healthy swaps. It's not rocket science. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know that's what I needed to do. I knew what the changes were. It was just kind of making them, I suppose, and being committed to making them.
Yeah, definitely. And with your partner, did you feel 100% supported? And the reason I asked that is that sometimes we find that with some of my friends that have joined Slimming World, that it's not always a case of that support comes straight away. So, for example, with you know, my husband's lovely and he'll do whatever he needs to do to support me. But I know that for some people, the partners are not always supportive. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's a case that they fear the change of their partner and what's going to be at the other end. This, you know, this obviously the confidence that comes with weight loss. I'm not really sure what that's all about. But you do hear, don't you, that not everyone is supportive. So how was your partner with you in terms of support?
He was really good, you know, and I think in the beginning it was me saying, I'm going to join Slimming World, I want to lose some weight. And it was like, okay, yeah, great. Okay, no problem. You know, I love you, whatever. But then I think as the months went on, it was like, oh, okay, this is actually a new way of life for us all. This is long term. This isn't just you losing a stone. This is us having a whole new change of life. And he has always been 100% my biggest supporter, always brilliant and always there. He will eat whatever I put in front of him. But I think, yeah, I know. I always have that naggy feeling in the back of my mind that, oh, you know, maybe I should be having a takeaway. Maybe we should be having a bottle of wine, where I'm saying, oh, no, you know, I want to be 100%. And he'd never say anything, but I think that's me just feeling kind of guilty that I'm kind of making us both miss out. So I try most Saturdays we'll have kind of a, you know, that cheat meal, or, you know, a bottle of wine and things like that. So, or I'll still go out to restaurants and still have a nice meal and things. So I think it's not that you're missing out, but I think I can be so strict on myself, which impacts on him as well at times, that I want to have a balance between what we eat, that, you know, we're still enjoying things and still making the most of it. But yeah, I think he has been supportive, but I suppose it, you know, I am a different person really, and yeah, have got that new confidence, and it's just, I suppose it's something we've talked about and acknowledged, and it is very different, but he has been absolutely fantastic. You know, when I got to my 10 stone loss, he bought us a paragliding experience together, just because it was something, I know, just because it was something, you know, I'd never done. It was a bit outrageous and things like that. He's always been into kind of those, I don't know whether it's extreme sports, but kind of a lot of sports, and it's nice that we can kind of share some of those things together now, whereas we never did before. So I think it has brought us closer as well.
That is lovely. And I mean, my goodness, being hooked up to a paraglide must be so different to the challenge that you had before that point. So at what point did you think to yourself, actually, I can do this now, or actually, I don't have to worry about doing that anymore because I'm not at my heaviest? At what point did you really notice that this weight loss was having a really big impact on your ability to do things and your health?
I think, so I'd started in the August. By the January, I'd lost about 4.5, maybe 5 stone. And I thought then, do you know what? I want to get a bit fitter. I've lost some weight, but I want to get a bit healthier and things. So I started doing couched 5K, still kind of very self-conscious and still finding a very quiet route where I knew I wouldn't really see anybody. And I started doing that. And I think, you know, once I started to finish a few of the runs and do those things, and then from there I kind of go on to do a 10K run, and I can run 10K. I can run 10K. That it was just, I just never imagined that I could do something like that. And then from there I started entering races.
Wow.
And well, I'm still probably the same. I got so nervous, just all that self-doubt, you know, I can't do this ridiculous ridiculous, and looking round and I'm thinking, oh, I'm still huge and I can't do this. What am I doing here is a mistake. But then finishing the races and thinking, oh my God, I did do it, and I can do it, and I am making massive changes. And I think I still get surprised now. I still shock myself. There's not one day where I don't think, oh, I couldn't have done that before, or that's different. Even having a bath before I'd lost weight was a bit of an ordeal, and not very comfortable, and I'd be thinking, please don't fall through the ceiling or something. so every day there's still something that I think, wow, that's good, couldn't have done that before.
No, that's the thing, isn't it? When you stepped on those scales, you never thought that you'd be celebrating having a bath in peace without the ordeal, which is just lovely, isn't it?
Painting my toenails when I'd lost about 7 stone, painting my toenails and thinking, oh my God, this was so easy. Yeah. I couldn't do this before.
That's it. I can actually bend down and still breathe. Yay.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've noticed, which, I've started at not as high weight as yourself, but those difficulties, you start to experience those difficulties, and then from a practical point of view, you think, actually, you need to do something, you need to make a start. This is your body telling you that if you're struggling to tie your laces and if you're getting out of breath, that's your body giving you those signs, Claire. So listen and do something. But there's such a disjoint. We're both intellectual people, we understand these things, but actually connecting the dots and then making the changes, starting the action is something that it's a mental game, isn't it? It's a mind game of, like you said, you don't like people telling you what to do, you want to be in control. And I think with any weight loss or healthy eating system, there are guidelines, and I believe that most diets work. I believe that some aren't particularly healthy, but most diets work, but you need to stick between those guidelines of that chosen plan, of that chosen diet. And with Slimming World, I believe that it's a change of life. It's a lifestyle choice that you're making, isn't it? What do you feel that allowed you to stick to this? Because at the end of the day, it is a plan, and if you don't follow those rules, the weight doesn't come off, does it? So what changed in your mindset to be able to think to yourself, actually, I know I need to do this, and in a way I have got to follow what somebody is telling me to do, but I'm going to do this. What changed in your mindset?
I think, for me, the food that you can eat on Slimming World is just, I love it. It's amazing. It's proper decent food. It's not, I'm not hungry. I'm not living on one portion of tomatoes with a slice of beef next to it. And, I can still have a decent meal. And, but at the same time, it's making those little swaps. I love pasta, always have, and always liked a lot of pasta. Well, I can still have a lot of pasta now, and I can, stick a huge, great big salad next to it. So actually, I'm probably having a bit less pasta than I would have, because I've at the same, they call it speed food, don't they, in Slimming World? So I've matched it with the speed food as well, and I'm getting all that kind of healthy food next to it. And instead of that, full fat, creamy, shop bought sauce that I'm sticking all over it, I'm making my own kind of healthy version of a carbonara, and I'm still having my cheese on it. But I've made that little change where I'm buying the reduced fat cheese, and I'm measuring my cheese. I'm not having 2 great big handfuls, and I don't need those big handfuls. Actually, I can still have the measured amount that I wanted. I can still have a packet of crisps. I can have 2 packets of crisps if I want, and I know I'm still in control of that because I'm counting it. I'm aware of what I'm doing. I can still have a gin and tonic or 4 gin and tonics, but I'm aware of it. I'm in control of it again. And I find, for me, the preparing of food, 2 little ones at home, they're 3 and 5 now. I have to plan ahead. I'll sit down most weekends and work out what we're all going to eat, kind of Monday to Friday, and then it's there then. It's a decent meal for everybody. I know what we're doing. I know it's healthy for all of us as well, not just me to lose weight. It's good food for them. And I think it just fits in with family life for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's nice to know that you can be on a plan that does fit into your family life and socialise, and like you said, you can go out for a meal and make those choices.
Yeah.
So having lost the weight and receiving compliments, how did that feel?
It's lovely, isn't it? Everybody telling you look good, you look brilliant. I like hearing it. I'm my worst critic, you know. I'm still like, oh, a bit to go. I'll never kind of take it too much, but it is nice. And I think for me, it's also about all the things that I get to enjoy in life now. We took the kids to Disneyland Paris last year, and we were in the queue for one of the rides, and my husband said to me, oh, can you imagine, you know, if we'd have done this before you'd lost weight, you'd be worrying that you wouldn't fit in the seat and be worrying about the rides and the seat belts. And I said I wouldn't be worrying, because I wouldn't be here. I would not have come. I wouldn't have done anything like this. And so for me, I think it's lovely that people notice it and things like that. And, you know, I hope the compliments don't stop coming. But it's being able to do those things, especially with the boys, and being able to join in and feeling like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. And I couldn't have done that before. We went to Go Ape a while ago now, you know, with the zip lines, and just being able to, I suppose, have a laugh. And I don't think I was on the very first one. I stood there for about 10 minutes. But just being able to join in with other things that other people are doing without constantly thinking, oh, I can't do that, can't make that, sorry. And just enjoy life now.
That is just so lovely to hear. And I imagine the compliment of being whittled down to Woman of the Year was an amazing experience for you. So tell us what it was like to be chosen as a finalist.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. So I had a day in Slimming World's head office for all of the kind of finalists for the winner of Woman of the Year, and it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I'd made it through from the regional finals, and then I made it to the top 10 for Woman of the Year. I didn't make it any further than top 10, but that was okay. But it was just brilliant, you know, like listening to those stories of everybody. It was so inspirational, but absolutely just so emotional on both days, the regional finals and the finals. I felt so emotionally drained listening to those stories. I felt like I was kind of with every one of those people, you know, as different as the stories are, you can all relate to each other and what you've been through, and, you know, and the torture almost that you've been through in your own mind about your weight and your journey and things. But then to kind of come out the other side almost, to be a new person with new confidence, and listen to all the positives and all the changes that people have made. And it was just really, really inspirational. I absolutely loved every second of that. And to go to head office was amazing. I'd heard a lot of chat about the toilets in head office, and they were something special. They were ace. Yeah, it was really good. It was lovely.
It's such an achievement to, you know, be down to the top 10. I mean, that is amazing. I interviewed Claire, that was, I think she was in the top 3, wasn't she? And I know from her experience, she loved it too. You have done amazingly well. It's every time that I do these interviews, and I just think, at what point does it take to make that change? And you've done it. You have done it, and it's just lovely to hear that you've had this success. You've noticed the changes along the way, and then you're noticing the changes now, like you say, with Disneyland Paris, and not having to go through that ordeal. Or like you said, you know, you wouldn't have even have got to that point, because you wouldn't have done it at all. And it's such a life-changing experience that you've been through. And if we could bottle this up and sell it, we obviously would be billionaires. But for anybody listening to this today what advice could you give, not to, I wouldn't say to lose the weight, because following a healthy eating plan such as Slimming World is obviously what, that's the action, isn't it? But what advice could you give for somebody to connect with their mind, to realize that this can actually work for them? Because I do feel that we spend so long as kind of like a gerbil in the wheel, just going round and round and round and round, not getting off, not stopping, not actually recognizing what is happening with our physical body, that sometimes there's that overwhelm, isn't there, where we actually think, actually I can't do it, because I've had all these years that prove that I can't do it. So what would you say to somebody just to help them to connect to their motivation?
You know, I had a massive way to go, you know, nearly 21 stone. I shouldn't have been anything like that, you know. I'm 5'4". I was never going to get a quick fix, you know. When I wanted that before Slimming World, I wanted to just drop 5 stone. How can I do that quickly? And I think once I kind of admitted to myself that I need to make some lifelong changes and I need some help to do that, then I think I find it a lot easier, that I'm not going to get the changes I want just by eating next to nothing for a couple of weeks, because that's not going to help, and it's not sustainable, and it's not something that I can fit in realistically with family life. And I think, you know, I would believe in yourself that you can make these changes. I just think if I can do it, I think I honestly believe anybody can. I, you know, could barely walk down the street before I started all this. And now, you know, I've run 3 half marathons, for God's sakes. Like, that's amazing. Just, you know, it's not something I would have been able to do a few years ago. I think you've got to have that self-belief as well, that you can do it. But I think that self-belief has got to come from you as a person. So take some time out to think about little changes that you'd like to make and how you can start. And then from there on, you can kind of build on those changes.
Thank you for that. That is great advice. And just starting and taking that time out, like you've explained, is such an important thing, when sometimes we get so busy with other things, don't we? Whether it's family or work or commitments we have as carers. There's many things that take our minds away from ourselves, and that really important thing about self-care. So how does self-care look to a lady that works as young children, and that is still committed to their weight loss and their health commitments? How does your self-care look today?
You know, I could sit here and say I make the time for myself because I have to and things, and you know, when I can, I do. But like you say, 2 young children, I work a lot, I'm busy all the time. So, you know, it isn't all the time that I'm taking time out to try and focus on myself and look after myself. But I will try and go to Slimming World and try and stay to class. You know, 90% of the time I stay to class. That is an hour a week where I kind of, you know, I sit down with the group, I listen to everybody else, but it gives you that little bit of quiet time to reflect your own week and, you know, what you've done well, what probably could have done a bit better, what you can change for the week ahead. It is an hour, you know, and like I say, I don't do it every single week, but I try and do it as much as possible because I think that's important. I'll sit down over a weekend and do a meal plan. Again, it doesn't take particularly long, you know, especially once you're in the swing of things. You've got your usual meals, your pasta, your salad, your nacho style feast, you know what you're going to have a lot of the time. So I think those little bits, if you can, to start with. You know, I'm obviously really into running now, so I will get up kind of extra early to try and squeeze a run in the morning. But you know, that's just where my motivation is at the moment. So if I can set my alarm for kind of 6 in the morning and get out for a run and things before I can start getting the kids ready for school, then I can do that. But again, that depends where my head's at that week. You know, if I'm in a good place and feeling motivated and driven, then that's all right, I'll do it that week. But if I'm not the next week, then that's okay as well. I'm not going to undo all the hard work that I've done, because motivation will go up and down. And I think you have to accept that. As long as in the long term you're staying in control and you're staying focused, then that's all right. I think we're really hard on ourselves, and I think it's important, you know, to congratulate yourself on the little victories that you've got. You know, if I have a good breakfast one day, but then, you know, the rest of the day kind of goes out the window, well, that's all right. That happened. What am I going to do tomorrow to make things different?
Yeah, congratulations is something that we don't often reward ourselves with. We'll always look at the bits that aren't going right, but the fact that you're getting up early before work, going out for that run as your self-care is brilliant. And for anybody listening to this that isn't into running or has never tried running or feels they've not got the right shape or that they can't run, running is amazing. Point after you finished a run, the feeling of, I don't know if it's the same for you, but accomplishment, putting on some music that you really, really enjoy, that energizes you, it's just a great way to start the day. And couched 5k is lovely too, and I'm glad that you found that as something that you can use as your self-care.
I love it. I absolutely love running. I know my husband will like throw me out the door sometimes if I'm you know, not as cheery as I might normally be. He's like, oh, just go for a run, will you? And honestly, I always feel so much better when I get back. I don't know what it is, but you just, the endorphins, and you just feel ready to face whatever's going to come your way, and just I feel when I run, I feel mentally stronger. I like, I can manage things. It's so helpful for me, and for me it goes hand in hand with eating right. You know, I'm not going to then fill my face loads of rubbish after I've had a run, because I think, well, I've done a run now, I can't undo all those calories I've just burnt. and that helps me keep focused as well.
Exactly, keeping the balance. And for anybody listening that would like to follow you on Instagram, we listened to this before, didn't we? We was trying to get your Instagram handle correct, so I hope I've got this right. It's I'm trying to sound posh now. Let's start again. So it's SW_the_dieting_mummy_bear. So award goes to the longest Instagram handle. So
yeah, sorry about that.
I think I got that one right. But on there you will see some lovely inspirational photos that I think will inspire a lot of people just to make a start. And it's been lovely chatting with you and just hearing your journey. And how can this not inspire anybody? You know, you've lost 10 stone, and it's just a brilliant story, from a point where your BMI was high and you had these health issues to just totally turning that around. So it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Leah. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me on. It's been great. I've loved it.
I guess my rainbow unicorn head would say, I'd love you all to grab a pair of trainers and go out and get a run. Now, I know that's not going to happen, but if anybody is sat listening to this thinking, I can't run, I've never been able to run, I couldn't run at school, I can't run now, I'm too old, I'm too big. If you've got all the reasons and excuses flooding through, and some may be legitimate, but if there's any ounce of you that thinks, okay, this is possible, and maybe you're not in peak fitness, but you want to start running, I really would spend this time just seeking out your local run club, your local clubs that offer the Couched 5k, or download the app, the Couched 5k app, because there's something magical about running. I often talk about unicorns on the show and about the fake and the fad and all the rest of it, but when it comes to running, there really is something magical, and running in itself is free. I know you have to have the initial outlay of a decent pair of trainers, maybe, you know, headphones and the rest of it. But if you want to run, all you need is a decent pair of trainers and you're off and you're away. And just try it. Just try it. There is so much to be said for running. There's fantastic books out there that can help you with your mental health if this is something that you struggle with. If you're really, really struggling now, listen to this, with your mental health, and you feel like you're kind of on a loop and you're a bit of a gerbil in the wheel and you just keep going round and round and round, try running. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to a fantastic book about a lady that was really struggling with her mental health. She was having suicidal thoughts, really, really dark days, really bad times. And she looked to running, and the rest is history. Fantastic book. In fact, it's a book that I recommended to my friend that was really struggling. And she actually said to me when she started to run, and she started to run around 19 stone, she says to me, I love it. And she loved it that much that I think a couple of weeks later, she actually came off a medication that she'd been on for years and years, just through running. And it wasn't that, you know, she was starting to run and she was super fit. She wasn't. She didn't have great fitness, but she started to run. She started with a couched 5K and she did really, really well. And she's continued with that, and she sees the benefits of running in her life. And Leah's done an amazing job, and she's so super fit now. Half a marathon. I don't think I could do that at this stage, but this episode has really motivated me. My local run club have putting the feelers out about getting back up and running and getting started. And even though I've still got some niggles with my ankle from an old injury, I just feel that I want to get back. I want to get back. There's nothing more uplifting than getting a great track on your headphones and just running. There really isn't. And you don't have to just run and then stop and then go home, or get in your car and go home. You know, you can just start and stop. It could be just a run, walk. Download the Couched 5K. If this is something that you're interested in, then download the Couched 5K. I promise you will not look back. So that's my little running rant. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you have. And I'm so pleased that you've tuned in. If this is the first time that you've tuned in to Swimming Stories, then please hit subscribe. That would mean so much, because that's the way that I can help climb the podcast charts. So until next time, take care, have a great week, and we'll catch up soon.